This is the social justice warrior. Notice its pale skin, our first sign of iron deficiency. Many social justice warriors have developed aposematic hair, a warning for any potential mates with an ounce of reason to stay away. She is able to deter mates because the social justice warrior, while at times completely fixated on sex and gender, is in actuality largely asexual. Grazing on a vegan diet of chickpeas and kale, her body grows weak and bruises easily. Due to a lack of red meat, her blood, low in iron-rich red hemoglobin, is unable to give her skin a lively color. It is this very anemia that also causes extreme fatigue, apathy, and depression. While typically too low in serotonin and dopamine to be motivated enough to do anything, this raging liberal relies on pure cortisol and adrenaline to throw tantrums at her protests. Joining her fellow deranged adolescent friends in a mawkish display of vitriol towards issues beyond their intellectual capacities, their screams and screeches are enough to scare all but the most based of university professors. If only they knew their feelings of anxiety and discomfort stemmed rather from a lack of nutrients and not from climate change or capitalism. What makes the social justice warrior unique amongst all other animals in the kingdom is the fact that they do not reproduce through genetic lineages. Given their rock-bottom fecundity due to low iron and a lack of cholesterol to make sex steroid hormones, if the social justice warrior is to live on, they must find another way. The rather clever and terrifying mode of transmission for this seething liberal's way of life is in actuality a mind virus. In fact, it is within the very halls of our schools and academic institutions where we see this cunning ideology infecting our children. A good leftist teacher who is both neurotic and overly maternal due to not having children of her own knows the process must be started early. Possessed with an unusual obsession for equity, diversity, and inclusion, the teacher entices children to join her in the gaining of status via signaling shallow forms of virtue. Whether DEI leads to any meaningful improvements in the lives of real people is unknown. Its intoxicating allure, however, is meant to give the angsty white woman but a momentary break from her ironically deep but factitious feelings of guilt. Now these are the years the teachers have all been waiting for, the intermediate grades 7 through 10. Having been primed all throughout the junior grades, it is this most critical time when many of the girls and even some boys will be most vulnerable to the mind virus. Puberty, a time of rapid growth and development, along with blood loss from menstruation, puts many teenagers at critical risk for iron deficiency. If the teachers have done their jobs exceptionally well, they will have also convinced many of the teens, prone to social pressures as they are, that red meat is for some reason bad for the planet. If a teenage girl falls for this, she often stands little chance at remaining uninfected. Watch as she loses her rosy glow, with it all hope for humanity. Whilst a teacher may infect a few children per year in order for the mind virus's life cycle to properly continue, at least one of these students will have to become a teacher too. Amazingly, as if almost by design, the faculties of education act like magnets for woke students. It is here where they amplify their radical beliefs and discuss how best to prevent future students from ever developing their own thoughts or learning to make their own way in the world. A student who is able to think for themselves and earn money through hard work and entrepreneurial spirit is dangerous to the SJW's very way of life. As such, anyone who shows hints of these proclivities is labeled as far-right greedy capitalist Nazis. This is just one example of how the mind virus is able to counter society's natural immune system, which, if allowed, would point out the obvious, that these people are batshit crazy. Because words are considered violence, there is little discussion in the halls of so-called higher education. Once the student goes through multiple degrees without ever having their beliefs challenged, they are ready to become a teacher. And so the cycle continues. If you have a child in one of these schools, fear not, because a simple serving of red meat every day is capable of making any child practically immune to this virus. It seems that even a child's brain, if properly nourished, is capable of discerning the difference between boys and girls, and can realize that these people are fucking nuts. And with a bit of guidance at home, your child is capable of understanding that some of their teachers are liberal buffoons who are not to be emulated. If you've enjoyed this documentary on the social justice warrior, please donate to the cause. Every dollar raised funds awareness for this neglected issue, so that people know the dangers of malnourishment and how it makes us susceptible to mind viruses such as this. And it would be pretty cool if you checked out our channel, where we go into great depth on why certain nutrient deficiencies cause such strange behaviors.